So guys, we have made it to Harrisville State Park in Harrisville, Michigan. It's on the sunrise side. So we have to get up in the morning to try to get down here and see a sunrise. Oh my goodness. Lake Huron right here in front of us. So beautiful. It's a little angry tonight. But we drove down from Copper Harbor today. It was about a, what, 10-hour drive?
Yeah,
it took us about 10 hours to get down here to Harrisville. It's kind of a long way home, but we wanted to come to Harrisville. We got lucky and got a last minute site here at cancellation. And Scotty wanted to explore around the Oscoda, Michigan area.
I lived in Oscoda for about 2.5 years, and that's where I fell in love with the state of Michigan, and just go back to my roots a little bit and revisit the town I lived in.
There's some interesting features around Oscoda. It's kind of you're almost stepping back in time, going into all these little towns up and down US 23. Yes, or Michigan 23.
So we got one day to explore Harrisville and Oscoda. So we're gonna try to do that tomorrow.
Yeah, we're gonna show you some of the best features, because Oscoda is how he introduced me to Michigan.
That's right. But she said that if we're going to continue coming to Michigan, we need to branch out a little bit, and that's when we discovered northern Michigan and the UP and the Keweenaw Peninsula and Isle Royale, which we just wrapped up.
So Michigan, from Standish.
You're up north once you hit Standish.
So yeah, we love it, and we're going to show you some of our favorite places here on the sunrise side near Oscoda, Michigan. All right, guys, we are out we're walking memory lane with Scotty Tucker is what we're doing. We're in Oscoda, Michigan. He has taken us to some of his favorite places. Of course, I've been there before, but y'all have not. So he's taken us to some of his favorite places that he visited. And he was stationed here in 90 to 92.
Yep. 2.5 years.
Yep, stationed 2.5 years here at Wurtsmith Air Force Base. And he spent a lot of time discovering some of the places here around Oscoda. So he's taking us around, and we're gonna see some of his favorite haunts.
We have just left Harrisville State Park Campground. We went up north a little bit from there, maybe 10 miles north of Harrisville, and we are at the Old Bailey Schoolhouse and Sturgeon Point Lighthouse. We're going to check out the lighthouse a little bit, but we're not going to be here during the time that they're giving tours, so we're not going to go up in it. So
hopefully there's a brochure out here to give us a little more information, especially on the Old Bailey Schoolhouse. Lighthouse is kind of self-explanatory.
We just love lighthouses for some weird reason.
The lighthouses are beautiful, but you know, the history of this schoolhouse must be significant, or the Historical Society wouldn't be preserving it. So it looks pretty. It looks like it's got a little... Let's go look. I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Let's go check it out.
Built in 1907 of Norway pine, the Bailey School is one of the few remaining one-room log schoolhouses still standing in Michigan. So it was built at a logging camp for the children of the logging crews and bears the name of a lumberman who was part of the crew that built the school. Partially restored in 1973, the structure was disassembled, moved, and restored in 1998 to its current location. It's pretty. Oh, that's pretty. See if we can get a peep in the window. Just a little bit. The old wooden and iron school desks. And then a water pump right here. So we can walk this way to the lighthouse. Oh, it's pretty. aluminum and wood. No, that's steel, isn't it?
It's all wood, looks like.
But there's wood
Yeah.
in the, like in the seam down there.
Get a view of it from the distance.
I will. Let's see. It was built in 1906. Dimensions. The Bernice D. It's a gasoline-powered fishing boat, typical of many used on the Great Lakes. So that is just an aluminum version
Probably,
of the
yeah.
old wooden fishing boat.
Yeah.
Fishing for lake trout, whitefish, and other species was a major industry from early 19th century until the sea lamprey. Yeah, I kind of wish we'd gone over to Edison. They had that whole thing. We could have made it to Edison. They had that whole thing about the sea lamprey over there.
So the sea lamprey destroyed the commercial fishing industry in the 1940s and 50s. Wow.
Yep.
I wonder
Sure
how it's
did.
doing now, though. I know the sea lamprey's still in the
Still
Great
here.
Lakes, but
Yeah. This is kind of like the Whitefish Point
It is, yeah.
where you got waves crashing in from both sides down here at the end of the point. Not quite as dramatic, but it's a whole lot like Whitefish Point.
The great view of the lighthouse.
Golly, it's so pretty.
This is probably my favorite roadside park here in Michigan. It's a 3 Mile Beach, just 3 miles north of Oscoda, Michigan. And it was one of the first outdoor recreational areas I discovered the first summer of 1990 when I was here. My roommate and I would come here a lot and hang out and swim and play in the waves and swim out to the sandbars. So it, has a special place in my heart here.
All right, take us out, show us the beach.
Let's see the beach.
This is one of the great features about a lot of Michigan. On the shores of the Great Lakes, they have some of the best
Lake access.
roadside parks to pull off for lake access. Yeah.
This is exactly how I remember it. Pretty much in 1990, 91, and 92.
This is Labor Day weekend, so we've already got several people here. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. A lot of people already staking their claim on their little part of the beach for the weekend day. The holiday day.
See them all down the beach
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, there's a bunch. Ooh, it's nice and sandy.
They used to have, come out here on the weekend nights and they'd have bonfires out on the beach and keg parties and stuff.
They probably don't allow that anymore.
Probably not. I don't think they allowed it then.
Lake Huron, guys.
Sunrise side.
Yeah, you've got this row of trees, even from the park, even from the campground, Harrisville campground. You've got the row of trees between you and the sunset. That dog. So you can probably see an afterglow, but this sunrise side, yeah, that's something else. Yeah.
In January of 1990, a Greyhound bus dropped me off right here at the main gate, and I didn't have a clue what I was supposed to do. All I knew is I had my orders in my hand, and they dropped me off at the main gate, and I walked up to the gate and said, hey, I'm stationed here, I've got orders. And they dropped me off at the little motel here. And then the next day, somebody from the jet shop came and picked me up and took me to the jet shop and finally got me processed in and got me some on-base housing. Back behind me in the distance, you can see some of the old on-base housing. It looks like a big motel room. We'll drive by that here in a little bit, but that was my first experience here in Michigan, being dropped off by a Greyhound bus. I was like, Lord, what have I got myself into?
You were pretty devastated when you saw your orders were from Michigan.
Yeah, I couldn't get over the fact that I was being stationed in Michigan, nowhere close to home. It was very devastating. But I did learn to love it.
An 18-year-old kid,
yeah,
so far from home.
And didn't know a soul. It was pretty intimidating. I survived.
And now we love it. We probably spend more time in Michigan
than any other state.
Besides
our home state.
Yeah, besides Tennessee, for sure. Yeah.
So let's go check out the base a little bit.
Now here at Wurtsmith, right inside what used to be the gate, is a Veterans Memorial Park. This wasn't here when Scotty was here, so they've made it really pretty. Oh my goodness, look how beautiful those apples are. Wow. Those are awesome.
So right there.
Wow, a nice memorial. Looks like they've got all of our state flags in here. Okay. With some of the military flags. Of course, our United States flag flying the highest. Where's our Tennessee 3 stars? I don't see it.
Right there.
Oh, there we are. There we are. Constitution Park, dedicated to the United States Constitution on its 200th anniversary.
We had, when I was stationed here, we had KC-135s and B-52s. That's what we worked on. Since base closure, I know they've tried to get a static display of those aircrafts here at the park, but I guess it's just too expensive to get them here, and they just couldn't come up with the money or the funds to get a static display of KC-135 and a B-52. This is the Wurtsmith Air Museum that opened up after the base closure. I'm not sure how long it's been here, but it's got some pretty interesting stuff here. Not any big aircraft, but some smaller aircraft. But hopefully as time goes by, they'll build on that and get some larger, more interesting aircraft here at the museum.
Maybe. It's a little deserted.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Don't know what they'll get.
I do believe we are the only ones here, though, other
we
than the
are,
volunteers.
yeah.
They have volunteers that work here. Maybe one day I can also volunteer to work at the museum. Vanett Lake. We used to come here and swim, and I feel like my memory's foggy, but I feel like we used to swim in this area right here, but I'm not 100% sure. You can correct me if you know. So my first couple of months here in 1990 was pretty lonely because I knew and I didn't have a whole lot of friends. It took me some time to build relationships with other people. And I would come here all the time and fish on the other side, on the lake side. foot pond, and I'd fish a lot up there, and I really enjoyed catching little shell crackers and warmouths and brim and bluegill, stuff like that. But all down through here, when steelhead would run, and people would be lined up shoulder to shoulder fishing for steelhead, because all the steelhead get caught up here at the dam. And every time, you know, they catch a fish, you know, reeling in, they'd be fish on, you know, and everybody else had to get out of the way so they can reel the fish in. But I have a lot of great memories fishing here at Foot Pond.
It's the Oscoda River, right?
Oscoda River, yeah.
Erected to perpetuate the memory of the pioneer lumberman of Michigan, through whose labors was made possible the development of the Prairie States. The latter half of the 19th century brought a boom to the woods of northern Michigan. A rapidly growing nation hungered for sturdy white pine to meet the needs of home builders, shipbuilders, and growing industries. The men who met the challenge were as hard as the bronze of the Lumbermans Monument that honors their courage, endurance, and contribution to America's growth. Okay, so that was that monument.
One.
Now, what does this camp life?
This is a CCC, I believe.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. The woodland firefighter. Yep, CCC. This is Cook Pond, right?
Yes.
Very well.
When I lived here, we used to come here by boat sometimes. Had a friend that had a boat, and he would bring us down. It was always a challenge to try to come to the top. It'd take at least 45 minutes to get to the top, only like a minute to get down to the bottom.
Running the sand dune.
It's brutal though, trying to come to the top.
Yeah.
So if you're already at the top, if you arrive here at Lumbermans Monument, and you decide to go down to the bottom, you better be sure that you can make it back up, because it's
not easy.
difficult.
I'm not sure if my camera is catching the steepness of it, but y'all, it's pretty steep.
Of course, we probably won't be able to see here. We are definitely going to have to come and see Beetlejuice in the theater somewhere.
Ooh, that'll be a happy birthday to me.
It will, yeah. I got the chocolate dipped ice cream.
My favorite peanut mustard parfait. You can't go wrong with DQ.
You can't visit Oscoda in the summertime without stopping at Dairy Queen.
Oh. Gosh, it's so great today.
We came through here one winter, and I stopped and went down here, walked out, and you stayed in the car.
I think we had already stopped down there, and I was freezing. I feel like, because it was much colder out on the end of the pier, or windy. The wind caught up.
I ain't never seen so many people out.
This is awesome. Oh, it's a great day. It's 80 degrees today.
So this ends my journey of walking down my personal memory lane there's a lot to do and see here in Oscoda, Michigan, and I know if hopefully, I'm hoping some U.S. Air Force veterans may come across this who have served here in this area, will come across my video by accident and remind me of some spots that I possibly missed. I only had a short period of time, one day, to cover this, and I'd like to see more spots here, but you know, just limited by time. I can only do so much. So what did I forget? Let me know in the comments.